Hello folks, welcome to EBCW Main Event. I'm your host, Ed0626. And as I said at the conclusion of Nitro, I'm going to be starting this episode off with my take on the AEW Games phenomenon that has taken place over the last couple of weeks. I know a lot of people have discussed this already, but at the same time, I wanted to get my 2 cents in, even though I'm a little bit late because of scheduling issues with YouTube and such. A lot of things like to release when I have things already planned, and I don't like to go against my plan sometimes, and that might bite me in the ass, but who knows. In terms of the match, Jake Roberts versus Big Show, hope you guys enjoy that in the background. But today I want to talk about AEW Games, and I have a lot of things I like about it, and I have a few things I don't enjoy about it right now. And I want to open this up by saying, take everything I say throughout the course of this video with a grain of salt, and that it's just solely my opinion. And, if you have your own opinion on what the games are looking like, that's yours, that's totally okay, but I'm not going to fucking bullshit you. I'm never going to bullshit anyone that comes across my videos. I'm going to give you all my opinion of what I've seen so far, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, or even indifferent. And to be honest with you, a lot of my reaction to the AEW Games announcement a couple weeks ago was more or less indifferent. The comedy aspects and the acting behind it was a lot more entertaining than the actual announcements being made, in my honest opinion. I think they put a lot more effort into the actual skits of the thing instead of any effort on actually releasing what the fucking game was, what the games are going to be. The only information we ever got out of it was it's going to be in 2 mobile games and a console game. To be honest with you, the 2 mobile games I couldn't give a fuck about. I really couldn't. The AEW GM game, I don't care. Mobile games aren't my thing, and that could have been a great console game, but I think I don't want it to fail on mobile, but I don't really give a fuck that it's the thing because it's on mobile and not on a console. That's just my opinion. In terms of the online casino, the Double or Nothing casino thing, I think that's a really good direction. I hope people with gambling addictions don't take it too seriously. And I'm not a big gambler myself, but I do hang out in Atlantic City from time and time again, and I, hang out on the slot machines or play roulette or something like that. So I enjoy gambling to a small extent. I'm not sure if it's something I would do because with the online gambling and online casinos and stuff, I haven't really done it enough to know if it's legit or not and what actually goes down with it. But, it seems like that's probably one of the few things that piqued my interest. It was like, oh, that's actually a pretty cool concept because, obviously everyone has mobile casinos with the pandemic going on. So, I thought it was a good direction they took that. But in terms of the console game, I want to start off the console part by saying I got on the WWE Games and the wrestling games bandwagon when SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 released way back in 2010. So I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball, actually a lot behind the 8 ball, when it comes to playing the SmackDown vs. Raw series before that, as well as No Mercy, Day of Reckoning, what were the other ones? The NWO WCW games, whatever else was out there. All the old games that everyone loves to reminisce about. I never played them, so I can't attest to how some people feel about those games and what the AEW console game announcement reminded them of. So, as far as what I know right now from my 10 years of wrestling game experience and pretty much buying every wrestling game I can have with the exception of WWE 12, All-Stars, and Battlegrounds, at least as far as I know it, that's been released on console, I'd like to think I know a little bit. So, let me start off by saying this. Graphically, I'm not impressed. And I know the game is in early development, at least that's what the screen said. The capture of everything was early development. I'm not impressed with how the graphics look. As soon as I saw the graphics, the first thing that popped in my head was, holy shit, this looks like Battlegrounds. And if you follow my channel for a while, you know how I feel about Battlegrounds. I think Battlegrounds is an abomination to wrestling games. I think it looks like shit. I think the arcadey aspect of games just doesn't work for me. I said this when I talked about Battlegrounds and the games I've talked about following that, where wrestling games to me are at their most fun when they balance out the simulation aspect with the arcadey aspect of a game. That's why I think, personally to me, WWE games have never been more fun than they were when they released on PlayStation 3 and 360. That, to me, was prime WWE games. What they have had since then is just pure simulation and pure tediousness and a lot of stuff that the player, in my opinion, can't really have fun in. I find, and even me personally, I find ways to have fun, but I can't do it all the time. Same thing with the arcadey aspect. Battlegrounds is way too fucking wacky for me. I'm just being honest. It's just way too fucking wacky for my taste. Same thing with the 2K original shit in 2K20. Way too fucking wacky for my taste. I was not into it at all. I don't think I played a single... I think I got like the season pass for that shit, and I haven't played a single 2K Originals match in any of those arenas and characters that they have. But what I could say is this. The game looks like it has promise. It may look like shit right now to me, but I trust Ukes and and any other developers involved in the game to make a decent game. Because again, I will fight anyone that says, not fight, but I will debate anyone that says graphics in a wrestling game don't matter. I think that's utter bullshit. I really do. I think graphics play a major part more than people realize, especially if you actually like watching like the ring announcements and the entrances and such, and if you're a content creator that kind of relies on that sort of thing. I think graphics matter a lot more than people realize. Graphically, I'm not super impressed with the game. Gameplay-wise, I just hope it's not too arcadey, and I hope it's not too tedious like 2K has been the last couple of years. And I'm not saying I don't want the game to succeed. I want the game to succeed. I want to purchase the game when there is enough footage for me to make that purchase. But right now, in its current form and from what we've seen, I'm very on the fence. I hope it turns out to be a lot more than what I've just seen, and I know it will be. But in my honest opinion, I'm not super sold. Again, a lot of how I felt about the actual announcement, I was very, very indifferent about once the whole holy shit, this is cool sort of thing wore off. I felt very indifferent about the actual announcements being made. And again, I hope it works out. I really do. I want AEW Games to be successful. I want them to release a whole bunch of games where wrestling fans like you and me could enjoy, you know? Because I think that's what has been lost in the 2K20 series when they moved to PlayStation, to the current gen consoles. They lost the fun factor because they focused too much on the simulation aspect. This, I hope, has a good balance that is a throwback to like what we used to play on PlayStation 3. Now, I'm not saying I wanted to regress to that point, but I wanted to at least have that some sort of nostalgic aspect that it makes me want to have fun in wrestling games again. Because to be honest with you, there have been very, very seldom times I actually have fun playing 2K20. And I hope AEW Games has success in that. Now, there's a couple of things I could talk about, like intergender wrestling and all that shit and how I feel about that in the game. I don't think it's warranted right now. I'd like to see a little bit more information on that aspect in terms of if there's any overall ranking systems and stuff and how they actually factor and how they're legitimate they actually are. But we'll hold off on for that conversation at a different time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Check out all the links in the description, social media, podcasts, and so on. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Main Event.